I'm president of Collinwood for YouTube. That's my buddy Alan Gallant. That's my buddy Patrick McCray. That's my buddy Daniel Culver. We are here to review the 1980 movie, The Stunt Man, and what a movie it is. This movie is wall-to-wall fun if you have not seen it. I watched it 3 times. I have a question for everybody here, so we'll start with Alan first. Alan, what did you think because when I was watching this, it felt like, I'm not saying the director got caught up in what he was doing, but it just felt like they were just having so much fun with this movie, and it is fun.
I like to think that there was a really good atmosphere on set for this movie. Yeah. Because it's a film within a film, so why not just, I mean, there's that meta sort of aspect to it that I think would appeal to actors in particular, stuntmen also, since there's a ton of stunts in this movie. Obviously, it's called The Stunt Man. But yeah, I think they were having a great time. I'd like to think so. It's a really intense great time because the whole sort of feel of this movie is intensity in a lot of ways. It's very, everything turns on some just high emotional moments that go forth on this, and you really don't know you're like Railsback's character, who is referred to as Bert throughout the whole movie, but isn't Bert, and you're like as a first time viewer, you don't know what's going on either, and so his paranoia is yours. It's fun. I mean, it's really fun.
Yeah. Patrick, what did you think?
Of what?
Like how it felt like
I forgot.
Sorry, it's okay. Like the director of this movie, it felt like they're just having so much fun. I'm not trying to say he got lost in his own movie, but at times it feels like that. But it makes the movie watching even more fun if he did.
Now, when you say the director, are you talking about Richard Rush or Peter O'Toole?
Richard Rush.
I think Rush had a lot of fun making this movie. Yeah. I think it was, and he gets to portray the director as both good and evil and godlike and messianic and messed up. And, he says just enough good things about the screenwriter that he feels safe.
Yes. I like
natural enemies.
I love the character of the screenwriter in this movie, too. He's really...
Alan Garfield's a wonderful actor. He would go back and forth, too, between being Alan Garfield and his real name, Alan Gurewitz. I don't know which he is in this.
I'd have to go check again, but yeah.
But Garfield gives a marvelous performance.
Yeah, he does.
Everybody does in this movie. It's a lot of fun. Daniel, what did you think, dude?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I would say that the director probably had fun making this, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I really, make sure I don't butcher this dude's name, I really like Railsback's character, because Peter O'Toole's character is talking a lot, and Railsback's silence at times makes up for the fact that Peter O'Toole's character is talking. They really go hand in hand with each other. What do you guys think, Alan?
He's very Steve Railsback is really good at responding. Yeah, he's really good at responding, and again, there's an intensity.
He's one of the best listeners.
Yeah, he is, and again, there's an intensity to the response that is sort of stylistic in this movie for him, and also for O'Toole. They kind of lead the pack, and when it comes to that kind of performance, and actually, just to get off it a little and go back to having so much fun. It's very clear that O'Toole was drinking during this movie. It is extremely clear. Trust me. Recovering alcoholic, I can tell you right now. There are a few close-ups, actually, where his eyes are incredibly bloodshot. Yeah. And he is still giving a fantastic performance. He's not blotto, but he is drinking. There's no doubt in my mind. Or hungover in a couple of these scenes. And that sort of thing, he was able to do that probably for another 10 years before he had to quit. Because he's in his late 40s here. He's about 46 years old when this film was made. 46, 47. but yeah, in terms of the response and everything from Railsback, he does a fantastic job. And he's asked to do these extremes in emotional response, going from paranoia to rage to love and back again, and all hitting all the cardinal points of an actor's emotional toolbox. Really. So I all props to him and in this movie, and he has a great acting partner in Barbara Hershey. She really sort of complements him in a lot of ways.
Patrick, what did you think?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What? So what?
I said, what did you think?
Oh yes. I of what? I keep losing track of what the question is because the answers are so good, but I'm being very polite.
Well, it's because I'm also I just kind of went off on a couple of tangents too, so that was probably
That's okay.
Well, Railsback's silence in this is really gold, and it complements O'Toole's all the talking O'Toole does. I love his facial.
I love it when he doesn't talk.
Facial features sell this. Me and Alan were talking about that before this all started. What did you think of that?
Steve Railsback does good eyebrow acting.
Yeah.
He acts a lot with his eyebrows. Railsback's wonderful. I think the key to Railsback is that he is in everything he does, he's unsettlingly likable and yet seemingly dangerous.
Yeah, he does have.
You never know. See, the minute I answer his question, he just gets up and walks away.
It's all right. We're still.
So yeah, I think that Railsback is a master of controlled ambiguity, and in the Stunt Man, he is very likable, but he does a few clod redneck things that you just go, oh God, guy, please don't do that. But he doesn't. But it's out of ignorance.
Yeah, and there's an unpredictability about him because of his stress level as well.
Oh yeah.
And he's dangerous, but you don't know when and where that's going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like Peter O'Toole is a kid who has brought in what he thinks is a garter snake, and it's actually a baby mamba.
Right.
And it could just strike at any moment.
I think the saving grace,
playing with it and showing it.
Yeah. He's manipulating the hell out of him. The saving grace for O'Toole's character is that he does have empathy. There's empathy somewhere in there. There's a strand of it. It doesn't always, come out in his behavior, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Daniel, what did you think, man?
Yeah. What was the question again?
What did you think of Railsback's facial features, his performance, how he sold his face?
I'll keep it simple. I think he did a good job.
Yeah, he did. I really love him and O'Toole's chemistry. I also think Barbara Hershey really stole this movie at times, because she balances Railsback's character out a lot in this. What did you guys think of her, Alan?
Oh my God, she's coming into her prime with this film.
Yeah.
She's been in film since she was 19 years old. She's been in film since she was 19 years old, but now she's about 31 or 32. And she's got a lot of experience. She probably has more experience than anybody else under the age of 40 in this film. And she is great. She adheres to the sort of thing where if both characters in the scene go completely insane, which level am I and which level is the other person? Because I need to complement that level. I don't need to be the same. So if I'm the same, it's the scene's gonna fall flat. I may come up to being the same momentarily, but then I'm either gonna go here or I'm gonna go back down here and become sane again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the old adage in any relationship. only one person can go crazy at a time. You cannot have both people crazy at the same time. The relationship implodes. And it does implode when they're both crazy at the same time in a couple of places when they both reach that level before they level off one way or the other. But she's great. She's also a great listener. She looks at him and responds to him and smiles when he's doing certain things and other things. It's like, you see the confusion in her face because he's confused and he's unsure of what's happening next and he's worried. She does a really good job of that. And the whole thing of him trying to suss out what her relationship with O'Toole was, it's where they both kind of turn into teenagers for a little while on that one.
Yeah.
There's a rawness about that, but they both navigate it really well, I think.
Patrick, what did you think?
Barbara Hershey?
Yeah.
This is shortly before she made a movie called Hannah and Her Sisters, which I think is her at the height of her abilities.
It's coming into
certainly one of the best movies of the 80s. I think she's fantastic. I think she is one of the most naturally likable people I've ever seen on screen. You just want to follow her. You just want to find out more of who she is and what she's about.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Daniel, what did you think, man?
Yeah, I think she did a good job too. I'm not as familiar with her as you guys are, though.
I'm not either. This is the first movie of hers I actually saw because I had never seen this prior to you guys recommending it, or Patrick recommending it, and her performance is so good because it's how her and him sort of fall for each other felt so natural and realistic in this movie. It was one of, like, for all the stunts they're doing, their chemistry and love feel the realest thing. And that's the best compliment I'll ever give, like an actor and actress.
Yeah, and I actually like the concept of this, where it's like, like you said, it's a movie within a movie, because this isn't the last thing to kind of tackle that subject too. Because I don't know if you guys watch Disney. I understand if you don't, but yeah, there used to be a show called Sunny with a Chance, and it was the same concept. It was a show within a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that concept has been done a few times, and this is a really good example of how well it can be done, I think.
It's often called meta cinema, or in theater, it's meta theater, or meta drama.
Yeah.
A little movie called Scream 2 did that a bit.
It did?
At the beginning, yeah. Because there's a movie theater watching a movie with inside a movie. So a movie theater full of people, I should say.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the most interesting films to handle that is a Buster Keaton movie, of Sherlock Jr., which is fantastic. Where projectionist dreams he enters a movie, and it's marvelous.
Yeah. There was also a show called Curb Your Enthusiasm, which was in a sense.
That's fine program.
Yeah. Larry, Dave. What did you guys? We got a lot of cool stunts in this. Obviously, our Rosbeck's character becomes the new Stunt Man, and what a job he does. So, the same question to all three of you guys. What's your favorite stunt, and what did you think of all the cool stunts in the film? Alan, you first, dude.
There's a tremendous amount of great stunt work in this, and of course, they're making a war film, which is an anti-war statement. Yeah. There's some meta stuff going on there too, but I really like coming around again to the car going off the bridge.
Yeah,
the end of it, because that is the culmination of. That's the cathartic moment, actually, when it's over with. But during it, it's the peak of the paranoia that he feels. He's got PTSD too, man. I mean, he's come out of the Vietnam War, so and he talks about it in raw and ragged terms with several of the other characters, including Barbara.
That's played up really well in the movie.
Yeah, yeah, and so you've got that parallel going on. He's in a World War I movie. He's got this PTSD stuff going on from being in Vietnam, which is why he responded the way he did when the guy kind of said, "No, I'm not going to go into business with you," and he flipped out, which is how he got nailed, or why he was being chased for attempted murder.
Yeah.
So all of that's going on, but that last scene just brings the whole thing full circle.
Patrick, what's your favorite stunt in this movie? And
What Alan said.
yeah, cool.
You know, I'll throw it what Alan said. Oh, sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay. It's okay. I actually like the airplane scene, how he's dancing on the airplane, and how they show that being filmed was really, really neat. Like the movie with inside the movie thing that Alan's talked about.
Yep.
I think that was one of the most neatest shots they did in that whole film. I love the car thing, don't get me wrong.
But that, you're right about that stunt deconstructs, and you get to see how the stunt is really done. You know, of a kind of a stunt that you normally don't see how it's really done. The car going off a bridge, that's pretty straightforward stuff.
Well, they do explain, because the other stunt man who's in charge of the stunt man, he's saying, "Hey, there'll be a canister underneath the seat when this car is ready to go for you when you go underneath the water," and there is. But the airplane scene, because he dances on there, and then they show him hanging on the side and it's spinning around, and they show you how they film that. All of the stuff they do from a stunt standpoint in this movie, and how they show you filming, even when they shoot the soldiers on the beach, this is just a fun fucking movie to watch.
It is.
It's just,
I think it's more important now than ever, because so much has been replaced with computers.
Yeah.
And here, this is an entirely analog movie. It's a very dangerous movie in every sense.
Which is why the stunt coordinator in the movie is an actual stunt man, I think, because that way on set all the time when the stunts are actually being done. So he's an actor stunt coordinator. I forget his name, but the guy that plays the stunt coordinator in the movie is a real life, or was a real life stunt coordinator.
And there's a wonderful, crossover with stuntmen often, and acting. Hal Needham certainly made the jump from stuntman to director. Directing Gator and of course Smokey and the Bandit.
Yep.
And I think Cries and Whispers.
Yeah.
No, that was Bergman.
Yeah.
That was Ingmar Bergman.
Yep.
I get them mixed up.
Smokey and Bergman, yeah.
Smokey and the Bergman. Oh my God.
Oh, speaking of that,
so good.
Freebie and the Bean, which is the first of its kind in terms of a buddy cop movie.
That's
I mean,
right. And
it's essentially
it was Columbia's top grossing movie that year.
Yeah.
It came out directed by Richard Rush.
Richard Rush, yep. And it all came out of the stuff that Alan Arkin and Jimmy Caan were doing in terms of improvisation.
Really?
They didn't even know what they had at the end of it as actors. They were just doing stuff and having a good time. The original script was supposed to be a drama, and it turned into this sort of light, dramatic moments in it, but buddy film. And eventually you had Lethal Weapon and all that stuff that came in, a number of years later.
And Super Cops.
Super
with
Cops.
David Selby and Ron Liebman.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're
Who
right.
can forget?
That's
Batman
right.
and Robin.
That was around the same time as Freebie and the Bean, too.
Yeah, but it was not as good.
Yeah. No, Freebie and the Beans is a great look. The experience of the actors and their ability to improvise like that is just razor's edge. So.
Yeah. What did you guys think? Because Rausbeck's character, like you talked about, he wasn't known. He's on the run from the law, because they do initially put handcuffs on him and he gets away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really starts a lot of this. He's running across the bridge and he sees his car. He's trying to thumb a ride. which is hilarious. And the car stops, and he's like, he tries to get in. His guy's like, "Get out, out!" And then the car, it looks like it is trying to run.
He doesn't
him
realize
down.
the car's going to turn around and
Right.
go. Right.
What did you guys think of the opening scene of this movie?
The ovary scene, I don't recall.
Sorry,
seeing
the
an
opening.
ovary.
Sorry,
The opening scene.
Yeah, the
Same,
opening.
so similar. It's great. It's exciting. It's disorienting. Which it needs to be for Steve Railsback's character also. When the steadiest thing to appear is this godlike helicopter,
Mm-hmm.
that's really cool.
That's when you first get your good look at O'Toole too.
Yeah, and
staring.
you know, it's almost weird in this movie to see O'Toole with his feet on land. Because you get so used to him, you know, just sort
In
of
the
coming
crane.
in this crane chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, or riding in the helicopter and, you know, just from out of nowhere, this completely Deus Ex Machina character.
And in Greek theater, it would be an omniscient, godlike character. You know?
It's certainly how all directors want to be.
Yes.
We rarely are.
Right, but I think that O'Toole in this one, he grasps that intensity of that mad genius kind of thing that he's doing. You know,
and he'd worked with enough of them. I mean, David Lean.
Yeah.
You know, certainly, and Richard Rush. I heard he was kind of doing a Richard Rush impression in the movie.
Maybe so. Yeah. I mean, starting off with David Lean, his first big, massive film. I mean, come on.
Yes.
That's the ultimate experience. Riding on camels, which he absolutely detested doing in Lawrence of Arabia. But what an experience.
A rational response.
Yeah.
A camel's an unpleasant animal.
I can see that, yes.
Daniel, what did you think of the opening scene, man?
I thought it was good, you know.
Cool. I really enjoyed it, the opening scene. Yeah, Peter O'Toole in this movie, I love how they shoot the beach scene where they shoot the soldiers, and everybody's like shocked, they're in pieces. Some people are turning away. Rail's character, get a medic, because he's having that PTSD moment right there.
Sure.
Yeah. And that is such
a
great acting trait. What did you guys think, Alan?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that everybody in this film found that note.
Yeah.
In every scene. There was a note that needed to be struck, and it was struck pretty well. As far as O'Toole goes, it gets struck pretty fast, but you know, he uses it in again, different levels of energy and so on. But it's that whole thing where he looks at you like he's like looking straight through you, and then he will look away and he'll say something, and then he'll just look and see what's your response to that. Yeah. You know, he's like a Mephistopheles of psychoanalysts.
Oh yeah,
doing that kind of thing.
He's definitely at his most satanic in this movie, in the best way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember, Joel, Satan's your pal.
That's right.
Yes. I worship him nightly.
You don't have to worship him.
No.
You could call him now and then.
Jewel, look carefully at the poster for this movie.
I have.
I
have.
Yeah.
I actually have. I'm going to buy one of those fucking posters.
It's a great poster.
That is awesome. Yeah.
It is.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he's got horns.
The director has a tail too.
Being portrayed as Mephistopheles, at least initially in that poster. Yeah. And throughout the movie, he kind of, he does. He has that affect until the very end. And even then, it's like he's just, he's not trying to kill the guy anymore. So it's sort of, it's not hard-edged anymore, but it's still there. The manipulation is about to continue with the check. The checks in the mail stuff with $1,000 as opposed to $650 or whatever.
Yeah.
Still playing with him. He's still messing with his
mind. Yeah.
I'm looking at the poster now. Yeah, I can see. It's pretty obvious. I watched on Tubi, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome looking poster for sure. That's the one thing before I watched it the first time I'm thinking, that is wicked.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
is
He
so-
does
Well,
some.
it's back when we used to have poster art.
Yeah.
right. It's the same thing with like album cover art. Like, what's the one thing when you walk through when you're walking to a movie theater, you spot the poster. That's what sells the movie beside the trailer. And then
I
when
don't
you
even
walk
look at them anymore.
No,
They're
And
so boring.
it's different. It's
Yeah.
different than it used to be.
It's
Yeah.
faces. It's largely
Yeah.
people's faces.
Yep. And
I'll
then
be
when
right back, guys. I
Okay.
have to go do something real quick. Okay.
Okay. And then when you walk through like a CD store, or you're walking through Walmart, you're walking through the CDs, what catches your eye? The album cover. It's supposed to.
Joel, I love you, pal. You must have a time machine. I haven't been to a store that sold CDs in 10 years. More.
Well, I'm actually remembering my childhood too. So
Oh, yeah. Well, man, I had the record stores,
yeah.
and that was nearly poster size of these things. And album art was essential, and it was wonderful. There's a good documentary. It's like 34 by 72 or something like that is the name of it. But it's about the lost art of the movie poster.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. And actually, I know it's basically simple, but I love the Halloween, poster or cover.
Oh,
Whatever you
a
want.
poster, let me tell you, a poster can do wonders with just one very simple image. It doesn't need to be a big, elaborate Jack Davis kind of, pile of stuff.
Although
And
we
yeah,
love
the Halloween poster is one of the greatest posters ever. Think about the Jaws poster.
Mm.
How
Yeah.
simple that is.
Oh, yeah,
That's
sure.
just a simple vertical thrust.
Oh, yeah.
And it says everything that needs to be said.
Speaking of Jaws, apparently the 4K Jaws 3 isn't very good.
Well, Jaws 3 isn't very good.
No.
So, you can't
Jaws
polish a
3D.
turd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've seen both versions of Jaws 4, and it doesn't get any better no matter how many times you watch it.
Joel, love yourself more.
It's Michael Caine. It's Michael. Just
I
watch
love Michael
Caine doing
Caine.
it for
I
the
love
paycheck.
Michael.
It's brilliant.
I
Just
saw
watching it.
that bloody thing in the theater. All right? I did my bit for Jaws 4.
Mhm.
We all have.
Jaws, the revenge.
Freaking
words of Roger
laser
Ebert.
beams on their heads.
What shark would not want to take revenge on the widow of the man who killed it?
That's
right. Oh my God. The sun gets ripped apart in the beginning.
Mhm.
There's that. Oh Christ. The funny part about this, Michael Caine had won an award that he could not accept because he was filming.
Yeah, it
he
was
was
the
working
Oscar.
Jaws.
That's
Yeah.
right. It was-
Yeah.
But Michael Caine was very philosophic about doing that film. He says, I don't really talk much about the film as a film. I just talk about the house I bought my wife.
Yeah, I love the pool.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. This movie, though, I would have loved to see Michael Caine in this movie. But Peter O'Toole is the man. He is just a ball of energy to watch. He's so unpredictable, and he's so cool at the same time.
Michael Caine is too kind.
Yeah, Caine.
For this role, he would be, I think. You're
Yeah.
right. I mean, he can
And
play
Oliver
cold,
Reed
but
is-
not like that. Not like
Ollie
that.
is too frightening for
Yeah,
this.
Oliver Reed.
Peter
yeah.
O'Toole is right in the middle.
Oliver Reed would be like literally like strangling actors on the set,
Yeah.
He would
Drinking.
angrily pull the helicopter down from the sky.
smashing
Yeah.
because he didn't bring him his keg of gin or whatever. Guy.
Well, did you see, what was it? Did you see Michael Caine in the original Get Carter?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a good movie.
But he's very calculated there.
Yeah,
It's
he
not.
is.
It's a different thing than what O'Toole does. O'Toole
it
is
is.
just-
Yeah, O'Toole brings that natural energy to a character.
Mhm.
I'm not saying Caine doesn't, but the way
no, it's just different.
there's
they're
just something about it that I can't.
And there's one thing you can be certain with Peter O'Toole, and that is he will start shouting
Yes.
just for no reason.
Yeah.
That's what I love, is that he will find a word.
Yeah,
And then return very quietly.
Stage training. Yes.
that's what he was doing in The Lion in Winter too. Like he
Oh,
would
yeah.
just shout.
Oh yeah,
He would
All
just
the time.
Yeah,
he was his own cliche.
he is a fun actor to watch. He was even though he didn't have a his character ends up, I think, getting killed or whatever. He was fun to watch in Troy as well. The one with Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Yeah, he was fun in that too.
Yes. It was pretty cool.
He's always somebody when you watch him. He's just somebody you want to watch.
Well, he's about this. I think we talked about this before we recorded, but this is really the beginning of a resurgence in O'Toole's mainstream career, which is going to culminate with My Favorite Year in another 3 years.
I love that movie.
It's a great movie. It's fantastic.
These are, by the way, the Michael Caine glasses.
They are.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
cool.
Caviar Ultra
Nice.
Goliath 2s.
Sweet.
I was talking to Alan and Daniel that though we covered My Favorite Year on here, I'm sure you'd be down for a revisited tour, right, Patrick?
Oh my God. We
Yeah.
could just talk about My Favorite Year every week and I'd be happy. Let's talk about it again.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's wrap this up and then we'll arrange that. Guys,
I love it.
what's your favorite scene well, we did favorite
Oh.
stunt scene, but what's your favorite non-stunt scene in this movie?
I like any of the monologues that Alan Garfield has as the screenwriter. I think they're just fantastic. He's really good in this movie.
A great scene when he talks about the relationship the prior relationship.
Yes.
Fantastic scene. He's really, really good in that. I also really enjoy Railsback and Hershey in the props basement, rolling around in the paint, and doing that sort of having that catharsis after sort of just being crazed for a while. And so that was pretty cool too. Either one of those are great.
Yeah. Daniel, what's your favorite non-stunt scene?
I'm actually gonna go with the one Alan mentioned. With the where he starts. Well, I know he mentioned the paint, but he starts freaking out. And we find out more about like what happened.
Yes. Yeah. It ends with that whole thing in the paint. But yes, there's a whole scene that happens before that. Yep.
I love the initial scene where Rausback's character and Barbara Hershey's character do the kiss up in the tower, and then the light comes up on. It's so good. That whole sequence is so good.
Talk about a psychological gesture from O'Toole's character as the director.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
I agree. I like that scene too.
Yeah. I give this a 10, guys. What do you say?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a cornerstone 80s film, and it's right at the beginning of the 80s. It starts to redefine from, okay, this was the 70s. This is now going to be the 80s. It's one of the films. It's not the only one, but it's one of them.
Let's make sure everybody's available. How is Sunday for everybody for My Favorite Year?
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Is that on Tubi?
Yeah, it's on Tubi. It should be in the National Archives. I'll get a link for you guys. But speaking of links to Patrick McCray's Dark Shadows Daybook Unbound is going to be in the description box. Link to Daniel Culver's channel. Killenberg is going to be in the description box. A link to Alan Gallant's Collinsport After Dark is going to be in the description box. Gentlemen, thank you so much. This movie was a lot of fun. I'll see you guys Sunday night for My Favorite Year. Take care.
Bye.
Winning.